Hey, everybody. It's me. I was kind of worried that I wasn't going to be able to get this thing to work because Ted normally handles this thing. So, I think I got it right. So anyway, you know me. I am the Black Knight, one half of helladopetoys, where you can get the coolest toys with the fastest shipping and the most pristine packaging. So, as you can tell, Mr. DarkClaw is not here today. He's actually celebrating 20 years with the missus. So, feel free to tag in the comments and hit him up on the old Instagrams and wish him a happy 20 years. I'm sure he's doing something somewhere or just sitting at home on his couch. We don't know. So we wanted to switch it up today. We'll still talk some toys, but we're going to focus more around the wrestling side of it today. A lot of things have happened in the news. I just wanted to, bring it up and talk about it. So I'm not here alone though. I brought a friend with me. We're going to talk and bounce ideas and things of that nature. So you guys know him. You guys love him. He's created the next evolutionary thing in the toy fig world, setting up new displays in a whole new way. Let's welcome our guest, Travis, aka Mr. Wonderful, aka Mr. Hexastack.
How's it going, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing good. How you doing?
Awesome, man. I'm great, dude. Great weekend, getting stuff done. Working in the factory most of the day, cleaning things up down in the basement.
Yeah, I should probably do that, but
nah, I hear you, brother. I hear you.
I'm like sitting around. I got like boxes because we had some orders get dropped off this week, and I'm like, I'll get to it later. And then later turned into like the next day, and then the next day turned into today, and it still haven't been touched. So yeah, like I said, normally, Ted's gonna be here, but we're gonna switch up the whole thing. We're just gonna flip the whole show upside down and just do what we do. But first and foremost, Travis, my esteemed guest, a question gets asked a lot in this channel, and I'm not sure if you are aware or not. So let's go ahead and get it out the way. What are you sipping on?
Oh, I'm sipping on in one of the Mug Club specials. I'm sipping in, some C4 as usual, but this time, because I've been blessed with this from, PowerCon, I'm sipping on some C4.
Hell yeah. Very nice.
But benefiting it's not in a can.
I mean, the can's nice, but then you get that, like, just having it free in a mug just says everything great. It makes it feel better.
it kind of makes it hella dope.
Well played, sir. Well played. We got some interesting names in the chat. All some are not big fans of the wrestlings. It's okay, we love you either way it goes. I just wanted to do something different because I don't do show prep. I just show up. Ted does all the planning. So
that makes sense. You show up, I show off, and Ed does the work. Ted does the work.
It's like a win-win across the board. But today, I myself am with my Hello Dope mug. Once again, it's that strawberry still reserve. That's all he sips on today. So I got that in the mug. So I want to get some things kind of cleared up real quick. I get a lot of emails through the chat function of the store. I want some updates on wrestling figures or figures in general. Since we are on a wrestling show, let me update the masses on a few things, on some orders that were placed and where they are. So right now, through my distribution company, there has been a back order on a couple previous waves, one of them being that Seth Rollins Ultimate. They only received half of their shipment. The other half is expected to arrive in the next couple weeks. So hopefully for those who did get Seth Rollins, Travis, you being one of them, we should hopefully get those in the next couple weeks.
So. I'm over here on my screen, double checking, going to my account to say, I think I pre-ordered that. So I'm running over to check. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah, no problem. Also, a couple other things in the wrestling world of toys, if you guys have not already. We got the Basic Series 141, which is Bianca Belair, Brock Lesnar, LA Knight, Seth Rollins, and The Rock. That basic series is part of the new articulation line that was announced at San Diego Comic-Con. So it does not have that weird like non-ab crunch. It actually moves like an actual ultimate or an elite. So that is a selling point. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, all of the new basics starting with 141 will all now share the new articulation.
And the new articulation is like an ab crunch. Is that what it is?
Well, they added an ab crunch. They added some more like rotation in the arms and I believe in the legs. So
I didn't know that.
It basically is taking the basic and the elite and kind of merge them together. The elite has good articulation and a lot of people liked it. So now they just say, you know, we're just going to make the basic line just as good.
So do you foresee, this is kind of just a question, and I don't know if you were going this way, but do you foresee them merging the elite and basic line and going just to the basic / elite and then having an ultimate line, or you think they'll still have the 3 tiers?
Yep, they'll still keep the 3 tiers, mainly for price point.
Okay.
The basic line will still come with very basic, you know, things, maybe a set of hands, maybe a second head or a championship belt, depending on who said person is. But it's they heard a lot of people complaining that the basic line just wasn't what they wanted, so they found a reason to kind of update it, make it a little more 2023, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I always opted to stay away from the basics after I came across the elites and phased out the few basics that I had because of the limited articulation. So them adding that's actually a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, so I mean a lot of cool things is coming. So, you know, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know. Remind me to punch Ted DarkClaw in the throat. This man pouring out money when he's not even on the show.
So basically, he's giving money to YouTube. Essentially, I think that's how that works.
Pretty much. You know, we could just saved that and bought beer, but you know, whatever. Ted, once again, man, I hope you're doing well. Hope you and the missus are enjoying y'all's anniversary. Catch the replay. Also, it's Chad throwing up a little love there. If you haven't watched his video that he posted the other day, please go watch it. It is hilarious. I pretty much cried laughing so hard. Don't worry, Chad. We are working on a response to that video. You know, it'll be all right. It's not going to be Chad quality, but it'll be up there. Also, a couple other people in the chat. There's some people that are here. They're here for you, man. Cobweb, Travis.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the support.
Our friend Big Bacon, not a wrestling guy, but just wanted to say hello and show some support. Appreciate it, man. You know, a like and a comment goes a long way. We appreciate it the way it goes, man. Thank you.
I'm seeing his name all over streams.
Oh now. Yeah, Big Bacon does Big Bacon things. I also learned that he's from Ohio, so that's even more crazier. Chris from Cutthroat Comics, thank you. You know, trying to push buttons and run a chat. This is a very stressful job, man. How do these people do this? I'm only supposed to like push buttons. I'm not supposed to run the whole show. We got Eric in the house, man. How you doing, Eric? Texteria, how you doing? Robert's Infinite Realms says Seth Rollins ended Sting's career, so I never got over that. Then Sting jumped off the ladder, but besides the point. Yeah, Sting's like what 60-something years old.
Man, I remember
doing crazy stunts off the top of whatever now.
Yeah.
What were you saying? Do you remember what?
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember back in I want to say like the late 90s watching Hogan age and stuff, and him and Sting. I mean, they're not too far in different of age, but like the fact that Sting's still going, man, and we're talking 23 years later. So it
was great. He still finds a way to innovate himself.
Yeah,
I mean, I love that he brought back the Joker Sting. That's probably like my coolest, like the coolest like Impact version of him. Yeah. I was not really a fan of the Aces and Eights version of him. It reminded me of that time when he joined the Wolfpack and started talking. Just hated it. But yeah, you know, I love Sting. I wish his run in WWE would have gone a little bit longer, but I am glad that they did put him in the Hall of Fame where he belongs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We missed out on the Taker and Sting, but you know, we got Sting in there for a minute.
Let's see what else we got, man. A lot of stuff going in the chat there. Carol, how you doing? Good seeing you. The Briscoe, how you doing, man? Always a pleasure. Of course, our moderator, Mr. Axion Figs. Robert says he's going to be jumping off a ladder at 63. Good luck to you, man. Get insurance. Make sure that hip can hold up in there.
Yeah. I'm not going to climb up a ladder to change a light bulb at this point, and I'm going on 39.
I had to clean my gutter out, man, because it was like I have a tree that's in my backyard, and it just like leaves just be falling in it. So I had to climb up there. Like, it's raining. I'm about to slip off this ladder. I'm like, I'm good. I took a little stick and I did one of these things and like try to move it out the way.
Yep. Got to get those gutter helms or something. They keep knocking on my door. They keep knocking on my door trying to sell me them, but I'm like, I don't know.
Maybe I need a trial run. Give me a trial run and I'll think about paying the bill later.
Exactly.
Chris says that he loves Crow Sting. Crow Sting will go down as my favorite Sting. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Absolutely.
Robert Awful says, believe it or not, I saw Taker vs. Sting when he was meeting Mark. Yes. That was very early in the Undertaker world. Like, I think he's trying to find himself. Isn't that when he was still kind of rolling on the independent line? Like right before WWE found him?
Yeah, I feel like that must have been right around that time when he was wearing the cowboy boots and the vest and stuff, probably before the towers. Yeah.
Art G, how's it going, man? If you're not checking out Art G, man, best hair game in the business. Check him out. Let's see here. Greg up in the house. It's a Hexa night. So as a wrestling fan, do you like drama shows that recreate the wrestling dynamic like Heels? I haven't started it yet.
Dude, you're missing out.
Everyone has told me the same thing, dude. Everyone that I've talked to said you have to watch it.
Yeah.
But it is on my favorites list. I will start that after I'm done with Ahsoka, which I only have 2 episodes.
Okay. I haven't watched any of that. I haven't watched any of it yet. My brother-in-law was just asking me that about this afternoon, and I said I've heard good things about it from a number of people. So I'm not as big of a Star Wars guy as most, so I'll catch it with the kids. I'm a Spaceballs guy. Yep.
Robert says that was at a house show, so makes sense. Oz from Ostradamus Toys in the chat. Oz, how you doing? Good to see you. I think that's of course the man, Bjorn, Shimbolak. Hope I said that right. Head Cannon, good to see you. Said best heel ever, George the Steel Animal. Any guy that bites on the rope and like isn't phased by it. Yeah.
Steiner math.
Dude, man, best math in the game.
Yeah.
Adam says Jimmy versus Jay Uso is coming. Yes, it is, but they're doing it different. Have you heard what's going to end up happening?
I have not seen the what's next piece to it. I'm really intrigued with where they're going with the storyline for the whole the table and stuff. So they're the family there. So I'd be interested to see where they go with it, because with The Rock showing up on Thursday or Friday, and then
don't be jumping ahead of my notes, man.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. No, you're fine. But yeah, The Rock did show up. But the idea running right now is that Survivor Series will actually introduce War Games. So it'll be Team J versus Team Jimmy in a War Games match. Also, with Jay coming to Raw, there was a trade, which they hadn't, I don't believe, announced who they traded for.
It's going to be Cody.
That speculation that it has to be Cody to set up that Cody Roman 2. But I feel like it's going to be somebody else. So, I feel Cody would have to do like win Elimination Chamber. Like, he's too big of a draw for Raw to move him all of a sudden to SmackDown. Like like outside of Seth Rollins, you're running low on that like top tier star power.
Yeah, but you have Seth over there. So you have Seth, and he's kind of baby right now, right? So it's hard to have him and Cody on the same show in that sense, right? Because you run into a situation where they're basically both competing for the babyface, pop, and they're the two big pieces. So you got to move one of them, and I don't think you can swing Seth into a heel right now. It just wouldn't work well. So I think Cody's the guy to go over there and continue his play with Roman, and then bring in a big name that's a free agent right now to Raw, to then be the bad guy to the good guy and make Seth, actually do what he says he can do against, the best in the world. Or, I mean,
Oh, no, wait. Can't say that yet. Greg, yeah, my internet down here gets a little shoddy, so it will kind of bounce around. So if I glitch out, I'll be back. Don't worry.
Okay.
I think you mentioned this earlier. Art G was talking about the MJF promo where he was doing Steiner math. I mean, I'm waiting for that Steiner figure to come out because I really want to reenact that with action figures. It's gonna be fantastic.
If you have the little Dominic figure that they made, the little child one, you got to get we got to get our boy Roma Toys to do it. To get little Dominic there and have him do a little reenactment, because then he can have Dominic as like the little kid he's trying to teach, kind of add a little spin to it.
Eldor, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Yeah, no, that'd be great. Like Frank did the thumbnail for the show. I mean, he's done a couple of the wrestling thumbnails now. The man just does phenomenal work.
He's a rock star.
He's in purgatory right now with the in-laws and the wife, so he's gonna try to pop in, but he's there in spirit.
Good deal. Yeah, talk to him all the time.
Chris says to send Matt Riddle to SmackDown. Apparently, you haven't heard the news. Matt Riddle is kind of on the shelf right now and potentially may be part of a budget cut. So
he's his own worst enemy.
Oh yeah.
He actually is. He went to high school. 10 minutes down the road from where I live right here. He was a high school wrestler. He actually beat John Jones in high school wrestling at the state titles there. He's a big high school wrestler around here. My kids' school just beat their high school this week in football. So he's always been who he is, and he's his own biggest worst enemy there. He's so much talent, but yeah,
pretty much. You like to get into some wrestling news? There's a lot going on. There's a lot of wrestling news going on. So let's get to the big one. We talked about it, last week on the show. CM Punk is officially removed from AEW. His merch is still there, but I think that's only because it has to be there until they officially his no compete clause is done. But he is on the shelf from competing for 2 months. He did go online and mention, since he's on a weird hiatus, that he's going to be doing announcing for one of the independent shows. I don't remember the name of it exactly. So he's going to be doing some commentary. It is possible, like we were saying earlier, that he could be on WWE. I'm sorry, TKO's radar. As a former UFC fighter and also as a former WWE employee.
Yep.
Is this something that we want to see here? I mean, we know what CM Punk brings. The promo that Triple H cut on him, like in his Summer of Punk, really came to like true fruition. Like when you look back now, all the things that has happened into comparison to that promo, like it is really like Triple H knew, like he had an idea about what's happening. Is it a good business for WWE, TKO, Endeavor, whomever, to bring this man back into the fold?
I have a bias here because I love Punk, so it's hard because I don't, obviously I don't condone assaulting your coworkers, because that's not appropriate by any sense of the mean.
Yes, Punk, you are the one true Punk.
But I would say that from what's going on in the AEW, it's a childish locker room, man. Like those guys are they're trouble. Like I don't expect it to end with what Punk had happen. I think if you rub some of those VPs the wrong way, you're likely to experience the same similar situation.
Oh, yeah.
I think once Edge gets down there, if he ends up there, you're going to have some, and Edge is not a drama queen. Like, you're not going to deal with that. Do I think Punk has always had an ego? Absolutely. The dude's been amazing and he's talented, but he also was one of the smallest guys in the business for a long time who opened the door with Daniel Bryan and a few others for guys
Kofi
like
Kingston.
Yeah, exactly. Kofi. And, he opened, but like Punk kind of opened the door for a lot of those smaller guys. He opened the door for AEW to even exist. Let's be honest, right? Like those guys that are those little junior super flyers, 20 super kicks before a finish, but it's because of him that they have that opportunity. So him coming back to the WWE, it's money, man. Like, Punk wants to main event wrestling. He doesn't have Vince McMahon. He wants to main event WrestleMania, right? Like, it's Cody, right? Cody came back to WWE because he made that company, right? Like in AEW, like he helped set that up, but like they all want to come back because every little kid's dream that ever dreamed about being a wrestler was to become the, main event of WrestleMania. Everybody wants to have that WrestleMania 12 moment, like Shawn Michaels and that situation. So if Punk gets the opportunity, he absolutely will. And I think it's even more likely now than it's ever been before because of the recent, transition from being, family owned and operated by Vince McMahon and his, his mentality. I mean, you've seen it. How many guys wanted to come and go from the WWE as a result of Vince being in charge? So now I know Triple H is still the point man, and that was made clear, but you have someone else writing those checks at a higher level that's, not 51+%, ownership. And I think now more than ever, there's an opportunity for business to supersede egos and such. And if it makes good sense and it makes money, I think, Dana White's history with Punk. I think Nick Khan came out and said something positive about it. Like, they're not looking at it right now, but hey, Punk's good at what Punk does.
But they can't look at it. They can't even do anything for 2 months until it's non-compete.
Exactly.
Ends. But I want to bring up Robert's comment. He says, wait, Punk opened the door. What about Rey Mysterio, even Shawn Michaels? I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. Rey Mysterio, the biggest little guy in the business. But this is kind of like that different time, different era type piece.
Yeah.
For Rey Mysterio to have held the title when he's held it doesn't shine nearly enough light into the scenario that it was. I mean, is Rey Mysterio ever going to be WWE World Champion? He had his time. He set the standard at a small guy. I mean, even Shawn Michaels, Shawn Michaels. I mean, but he's a showman. You're gonna get that. That is a, if you're a big burly guy with Vince McMahon loves, you gotta be a draw. And once of course, the Marty Jannetty super kick through the barbershop window happened, that was instant gold for him. But no, I mean, I'll never say Rey Mysterio and all them will always be in that forefront of those little guys. But in today's era, you had your Daniel Bryans, who was held down and had to go jump through hoops to get to the main event. He had 2 matches in the same night to get that championship. Kofi Kingston pretty much had the New Day get their asses kicked, to get to that point. It took the New Day to say, look, man, we respect you. We have war. We forfeit. Right. Of course, we at the end of that, it was, well, the house always wins, but we saw what happened at the end. Kofi Mania, that was a thing.
Right.
This is also the reason why they really were skeptical about Finn Balor being champion. Small guy.
Well,
what happened when he won a title?
Yep.
Got injured.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's and injuries happen. It's a business. We get how it happens, but this is that ultimate Vince McMahon thinking that if you're not a big 250-pound super heavyweight, you shouldn't be holding my title.
Well, that just goes back. That just goes back to having been trained and being on the smaller side height wise, right? And when I wrestled, I was under 200 pounds. So I was a very small guy. So, I wasn't dogging, Rey Mysterio or Sean. Sean's my all-time favorite. So like, he's the person I always tried to emulate. But, when you look at those guys, I was talking more in the current generation, right? Like those guys opened the window, they cracked it a little bit. And let's be honest, Sean didn't open the window for anybody. He was like, nope, it's me or nobody. And Rey, on the other hand, he opened the door for the Lucha Libre, wrestler. But like, in the, speak his name, Benoit, those guys, there was Eddie, those guys who kind of brought over that smaller guy, but they even were bigger. And when I'm saying bigger, I'm not talking just vertically, I'm talking wide, right? They look tougher and stuff. But nowadays, Punk, he never looked like a tough guy. He didn't physically look dominant. He looked like the guy who could be in the fan seats and talking smack, holding a sign, that type of thing, buying a hot dog at the concession. He was never a larger than life person other than what he could do on the microphone. And that's what I was alluding to. He opened up that door for those little guys that can just jump from rope to rope and all over, that weighed $150 and get that opportunity to open up AEW. So that's where I was alluding to. And the whole big man syndrome in wrestling, it all comes down to the fact that back in the day, you didn't have security. You didn't have these big arenas. You literally needed guys to be bigger than the people in the stands. So they believed that they would get the crap kicked out of them after and before the show. So like, that's its own set of issues there. Right. So that's where that all comes from. But, obviously as time has evolved, you have some amazing talent, no matter what size you are. You've got guys that are giants.
And I'll bring some of that. Yeah, because there's some names in the chat that they brought up too. So I'll touch on that. But first and foremost, Laser Pants with the message super chat for super chat. Thank you, my friend. Good seeing you.
Laser.
He also wants to know where his ho Ted at. Yo ho is out with the wifey, the main boss, celebrating their 20 years. Man, he'll be around doing something. But that's where he's doing. But one of the names that was in the chat that I saw and I wanted to touch up on, being a small guy who's champion, Sammy Guevara, the wrestling sex god. The dude has an amazing, moveset, for what he does. He's considered a high flyer, but his agility, his ring movement. I mean, he is everything that we loved about Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrera, Psychosis, like all those luchadors back in the 90s. But he put a modern spin to it, and that's what I like about Sammy Guevara. Like he is everything that you want. He can talk on the mic, he can wrestle. He just he's got a nice wife.
I haven't given him credit because I haven't actually really watched much of him. Every time I've caught him, he's just being a lackey to Jericho, from what I remember. Which I love. I love Jericho. Don't get me wrong, but he might be the GOAT in my opinion. But I haven't had the chance to see too much of Sammy's stuff, so I'll have to definitely go back and check some of that out.
No, if you're gonna watch, watch a lot of that early, like kind of like that first run when he was with Jericho, and then kind of fast forward to maybe 9 months ago when he started going for the TNT title. Good wrestling right there.
Okay.
But yeah, to continue on, back in, like we were saying with the CM Punk thing, a lot of people are saying, the same thing that a lot of people think. CM Punk is a high risk, high reward type wrestler. He's going to put butts in seats. He's going to sell tickets. He's going to sell merch, but you got to deal with his mouth. And which part do you take? Like when you know what he brings to the table. If you're going to sign this man to a deal, you have to know this is what you're going to get.
Do you think you'd get ignoring that, like let's disregard some of the stuff that's been said about him by people like Seth and those guys, right? But like we don't in the WWE, they don't have little kids in it, right? These are all big boys. These are all adults. They're all professionals, right? I don't think you're going to see, at least from my perspective, I don't think you're going to have to worry about the crap that he's dealing with. You're not going to have some guy look at the camera and scream, "That's real glass," right? You're not going to have a bunch of guys going to the dirt sheets and saying Punk's doing this or Punk's doing that or anything like that. So I don't think you're going to have that issue. I think his issue in the WWE, at least from what I saw and what I've read and what I'm aware of, is just really about the is he was good. He was one of the top merch sellers. They were purposely not putting his merchandise out to sell at shows when he was going up against Cena, because they didn't want him to overcast the shadow on Cena because he was so hot that year. So like, is it a situation that you have to worry with? If you're paying them and you're bringing them in and you say, hey, we're gonna light the rocket up under you. We're gonna let you have the big matches. We're gonna let you do this. Do you run into an issue? I mean, I don't know that you would. Like, at least that's my perspective right now. Like, I don't know that you'd have the same drama with him. I think he's going from wrestling at like a part-time, kids babysitting playground. And here's the thing. We heard so much drama about him, but you also on the flip side heard a lot of things like where he was like giving gift cards to people there, like, and he was always trying to coach him and teach him. And there was like basically the whole show that was on Saturday, those guys would vouch for him and speak very highly of how, he was trying to give back so much. Mm-hmm. But then there was obviously these other people who, let's be honest, in my opinion, the perception was that they were egotistical young guys who started up their own promotion. I'm not talking just those two, but like there was people around them that were reaping the benefits of being part of that Bullet Club group. And as a result, they built up this legendary idea of who they were, that when they saw the numbers, when Punk came in and they saw the things that Punk was doing, and it kind of got to them that they weren't the kings of the castle anymore. And it's like, well, you're not. I mean, he draws, you don't. So like, I don't know that you deal with that in the WWE. I think you bring him in and you do the right things. And, he's not going to come in and be like, oh, you guys are going to put me on SmackDown and I'm going to job out every week. No, like he's going to know what he's coming in to do, and he's going to agree to what it's going to be, or he's not. And then he's just not going to do it.
I'm going to pull this up. I mean, AJ Lee ain't coming back. She's enjoying too much time on Women of Wrestling. No need for
she's on heels too. She's on heels, man.
Now you ruined it. Now I got to watch it now.
You got to watch it, man. It's good. I haven't watched this season. I have to catch up on this season.
All right. I will definitely pop it up now. Rolando, how's it going? Good to see you. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. They're fucking laser pants. I swear, this guy. Does he say crazy stuff like Ted from helladopetoys or laser pants from 3PO ways? He might. You never know. Oh my god. There's something else I wanted to pull up real quick. HGC says, hello all. Did we talk about amazing Shockmaster figures yet? Not yet, man.
I never got that one. I should have.
I think a lot of people like had that same thought that, like, the nostalgia of having it like now is so much more greater than it was then.
Yeah.
So Mattel, if you're watching, or any of your representatives, Shockmaster, let's get that back.
They should do an ultimate one where they actually come with the
wall,
that breaks through it. Wait a minute.
Huh. That would be. Are we sparking ideas here?
I don't know, man. So some stuff starting to tinker,
Northern Nomad wants to know if you're actually related to Paul Orndorff.
No, I'm not. Unfortunately, I would have made it to the pros if that was the case. I would have been like Mr. Wonderful Jr., MWJ or something like that, and I would have been some cocky guy from upstate New York that, his mom would come to shows and tell him how much she hates me, that type of thing.
Right.
But MJF did it better.
Oh, absolutely. So enough of the CM Punk piece. We can go on forever about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some more moves. I know, like I said, I know you don't follow a lot of AEW, but a big name from AEW's contract has ended officially 2 days ago.
Yeah,
and is on the move. Jade Cargill, former TNT or champion, women's champion, TNT, one of the two champions. I don't fucking know.
Yep.
Her contract ended and is on a straight path to WWE. Even reports as of this morning have shown that she is seen at the Performance Center
this week. She's supposed to be there. What I've heard,
she's already there.
See that.
Yeah. Now the question I have here is, well, actually, it's not a question. I'm gonna start with this way, and then I'm gonna lead you into this opinion. Big force in AEW, longest reigning champion for that title. Of course, not a lot of. I mean, you don't have a lot of A-star names in the women division, but Chris Statlander did beat her for the title. Yep. She is not going to NXT.
Is that what have they officially said that? I mean, I would assume so. She's already got a name recognition within the industry on TV, so it wouldn't make sense too much to send her there.
She will go straight to the main card. The running idea right now is that she will feud with Rhea Ripley.
That I can see. Yeah, I can see that. And so here's the thing. Like, being honest, I don't follow women's wrestling all that much. It's just I grew up at a time when women's wrestling was just kind of like, the extra little kind of, cherry on top type stuff they would throw out there for intermission and things like that. So I never really got into women's wrestling. I know over the last 10 years, they've really put a lot of emphasis behind it. I know it's gotten a lot better. It's definitely better. And I definitely respect what they do. Sasha Banks, those folks, Bailey, Seth's wife there. I'm disrespecting her by not even thinking of her name. Thank you, Becky Lynch. It couldn't come. She just won the NXT title recently. Yes. So like, I don't follow it, the way I do the male wrestling. It just doesn't do it for me. Yes, Laser, that's what you can say. But I'm giving them their credit. And what I'm getting ready to say, I hope fixes some of that perception. It's not for me. I love that it's out there. I have a daughter who, I try to get involved in wrestling. So, I root for those girls for her to watch and stuff. But Jade there from AEW, she looks the part. Like, that intrigues me. I feel she could walk in the door and really put some stuff on. So, to me, I'm excited. I saw somebody posted something online today or yesterday, and they showed a picture of her versus Bianca. And like, they're like, could this happen soon? Or like, this is going to be a big match. So, sorry, I'm just reading the Blazers. Damn it, man. Damn it. I'm definitely not. No. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it, brother. No, so my thing is, she looks the part. I'm honestly, like, again, somebody who's not that part of the wrestling doesn't appeal to me, or it hadn't in the past so much. That intrigues me that Tony Khan even let her get away. Like, that's just stupid to me because she physically looked the part,
right?
And whatnot. And if they were smart, they could go beyond wrestling with her. Like, she's got like modeling and acting and stuff, I think, in the background.
Yeah, but here's the thing with that though. While she has all those accolades, AEW doesn't have that lock like WWE has right now.
Absolutely, I
agree. If she wants to build her brand better, that was the best decision for her to make.
100%. Like, if they're not knocking on the door for Disney and MCU to try to make her Storm of the MCU, like, I could totally see it. Like, I think I've seen people do mock-ups of her like that. I'm like, oh, she'd be a badass Storm. I don't know how her acting is, but like, she would definitely be a rock star there. So, for her career, I mean, she's got to go to the WWE. I mean, that's where it all lives and dies, right? Like, I mean, well, I guess you live there. You die when you go to AEW. I mean, never mind.
Right. Now here's the thing that I don't like about this move. And it's not that I don't like that she's going there, because I do. And it's not that I don't think she should have stayed, because ultimately I think she should have. I don't like that they kind of just threw it out there. I would have loved to have seen this as a surprise Royal Rumble entrance, or, Elimination Chamber, because,
mystery partner.
Someone gets hurt, a backstage attack, and that sixth person ends up being, Jade Cargill, like something that's surprising. Like, now it's already out in public. Now it's just like, when is it gonna happen? Like,
well, yeah, and they could have done it, and they could have done a better job with it. Obviously, you get the dirt sheets, people talk and stuff, but they could have definitely done a better job with it, because she had left AEW for a little while. She was off TV for a little bit, then they brought her back for like a blip. Yeah. And then, they could have brought her back. Exactly. They could have kept it quiet. And, Survivor Series is only a month and a half away. And if they do a 4-on-4, 5-on-5, an elimination, or not elimination, but a war games with the females and stuff, and they have a match that way, she could have been the mystery, partner, and like really like made an impact, right? Like, have Rhea set up a 4-girl team or whatever, and, run rough shot for a minute, and then, bring in, well, I guess Rhea just got Yokozuna power, splashed by Nia Jax, by Nia Jax. So I mean, like, you got a big monster like that, but like, you could have done something with Jade to make an bigger impact. And if you have an opportunity to do that in pro wrestling nowadays, you gotta take that chance. Like, right. If there's any way you can keep things quiet, you got to keep them on the trailer so nobody sees them. Don't even tell the people in the back. Just have somebody walk out. Like, that's the way you make those impacts. Like. Right. You got to make it a surprise, because whenever you can, that's when stuff blows up.
Yes, HGC, that is 100% confirmed. Jade Cargill to WWE. You got to get the F out. You can't say that anymore. Also goes on to say that Jade has a stellar look, and I know she needs some work with promos. I think she can learn the WWF method, and she'll do fine. Absolutely. She, like I said, top tier talent. And you don't necessarily. I mean. Look at Brock Lesnar when he got there. He was not a talker. That's why you had, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was the talker.
So, he's still not a talker.
But he does better now than he
Yeah.
did. But then again, like I say, he doesn't really have to say much.
Yeah.
Put him up on an F5 or German suplex, and that's your promo right there. But you put Jade with you put her in a faction of some sort where she can be the main attraction, and then bring up maybe some of the NXT girls that are on the up and come up, and really do that.
Perfect opportunity they could have done is they could have brought Jade in. Rhea's getting bigger than the Judgment Day. She's bigger than the Judgment Day at this point. They could have easily had her come in and kind of slip in, and they could have kicked Rhea out and had a whole situation where they teased some dissension with that and brought her in and had her replace that and be built up by Finn and Junior.
I think that's the opposite's about to happen. That Finn Balor is going to be the one that gets kicked out.
Oh yeah, I mean, but there's opportunity there, right? So many things and stuff. But yeah, absolutely. Jade going to the WWE was the smartest. I would say the smartest move for her professionally. It's going to give her that growth opportunity to go beyond just wrestling. She has that look and that she carries herself she doesn't carry herself like a kid. Mm-hmm. So she looks like she can move on. So,
oh yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, she's everything that she got a lot of crap because of her was it her last I think SummerSlam. Her SummerSlam wardrobe was a throwback to Chyna's with the all black with the silver clasp.
Rhea?
Yeah.
Okay.
There people were giving her crap dude,
she's playing.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say she's playing homage to one of the greats, right?
Yeah.
And it makes sense. She's part of that alliance, she's part of they're obviously not Generation X by any sense of the mean, but she's part of this stable. She's the muscle of that team, and it made sense that she was parlaying that into showing some respect to the ones that came before. I mean, it's to me, it's no different than when Dolph wears stuff that looks like what Shawn Michaels used to wear back in the day.
Dolph did it. Kind of Seth Rollins came out with Dusty Rhodes polka dots, and who cares? You're paying homage to the people who put you. You wouldn't be where you are right now if you're not paying homage to those people who blazed that path for you. But whatever, that's that.
No, absolutely.
So I got some other stuff. So with the merger of UFC and WWE into now what's called TKO, which is a really dumb name, by the way. They have tossed around some ideas for some new championship belts.
Already,
yes. So
just let me ask a question before you go there. So is it newly branded like names of titles, or is it just new looks?
Both.
Oh man, I don't even know.
So the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, that belt that both Seth and Roman both carry, that will stay the same. That won't change. The women's titles will both stay the same.
Okay.
The change will be, of course, which needed to be updated, is the tag team championships for the men. Okay. They will get split again, so you'll have a Raw tag team champion, a SmackDown tag team champion.
Are they still the blue and red ones, like the big circles and stuff, or whatever?
With the Spartan heads on them.
They're the pennies. That's what they are to me. Pretty much.
Yeah. But they want to introduce a new title. A title that is also currently in another company called AEW. They want to introduce what's called a Trios Tag Team Championship belt.
WWE can't do tag teams, right? They can't do trios, dude. They can't do tag teams, right? Trios isn't gonna go any better. It's gonna be like the light heavyweight championship of the '90s with Taka Michinoku, and it's just gonna disappear off into the sunset.
Oh, it gets better since you brought it up. They also want to bring back some of those type championships, not necessarily like the European Championship and things like that, but they want to focal point some of the more, because the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship has always been looked at as a mid-tier title. Mm-hmm. In its own retrospects, those two titles hold, especially in the last 3 years, has held more prestige than said heavyweight titles, as Roman has only defended them when he felt like he wanted to. So they're thinking about bringing in more of a secondary title to the U.S. and Intercontinental Championships. Potentially a light heavyweight title, very UFC-like.
That makes sense to a degree, but it makes sense to a degree, right? You can add another one. They got plenty of TV time, right? But it's To me, it makes sense. It's a lower title. Like you're not like you got these champions that are coming up from NXT that are moving on, and they're not quite ready for the Intercontinental or the US title based on establishment. Right? Some of them are, but some of them aren't. They need something that they can own and chase. So that it makes sense to a degree. They've always struggled. It's not UFC. UFC is able to get away with it because they don't defend every title every show, and they don't have the main event every month for the single TV show, for the single set of belts. UFC is able to
not sure. We'll kind of play it by ear, but pop back in if we're here. We'll love to see you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. So like I worry with that. It's just gonna be too much. Like I wouldn't mind another one, but I'd be curious on how it would work. And I don't think you can flag it as a light or a junior heavyweight. It's just got to be another title, and it's gonna be hard because is the title going to be seen as like a knockoff into or not? Is it going to be like the European title, just like another knockoff, just to put another strap out there? Like
yes, it's yes and no. Like I said, I mean the issue. So if you look at WWE in a whole, so you have on each show roughly 4 contenders for their world titles. Roughly, you have a handful of women in for their titles. And I will exclude the tag team championships because you might as well just get rid of that. It's pointless now. It's done.
It sucks.
But then you have all these mid-carders. You have a large mid-card selection of wrestlers that all cannot bide for either title. So now you take that mid-card, you go, okay, well, you're still kind of green, but I see potential.
Right.
I want to give you a title, but I want to give you this starter title. Call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
Let's see what the crowd says. Because ultimately the crowd the money is going to dictate that. But if they are indeed listening to what the people want, a small title will kind of gauge that idea.
They've got to do it right though. Like if they have it just be thrown on a show and it's used once in a while, it's not going to do anything. They got to legitimize it.
So you want the 24/7 championship?
No. It can be said European title. It could be said, not quite the Intercontinental title. I don't care what it is, right? It could be the North American title. It could be the TNT, or it could be the Fox. Well, I don't know if that would sound good because that'd be cheesy.
We're going to get to that in just a second too.
But they could have a title, right? And it could be a valuable title, but it's got a main event Raw. It's got a main event SmackDown, whatever that junior title is, because that's the reason titles work in UFC with so many of them, because that title fight is the main event, right? It's not just thrown in there. It's not, oh, guess what? We're coming back from a bathroom break. Let's throw a title match on. Like, that's just not going to work. It's got to be promoted and done right. If you're going to try to pull from UFC and what they do with multiple titles and having all of those additional tiers to add value to their undercard, then they need to do it appropriately and put them on the head of the card.
UFC has, they have once a month, they have a main card, UFC 255 or 307. Then you have Fight Night. Then they have another show. You almost have a UFC event every
week.
Single weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know if WWE right now, well, I guess at this point it doesn't matter because, like I said, new ownership. So you might actually see that. You might see, a Saturday night WWE event or something in the works.
Well, they don't even need to because the different UFC has a weekly pay-per-view, right? The WWE has weekly network or weekly paid television, right? Like they have their show on TV and then they actually broadcast on Fox, right now. So they already have a weekly distribution where they can do this. What I'm saying though, is it can't be, let's just call it the European title, for instance, right? It can't be the European title 15 minutes into Monday Night Raw. And that's when it's defended randomly, sporadically. It's got to be drawn out and it's got to be set up. Maybe the European title doesn't get defended on the main pay-per-view that WWE has every month. And it's just defended on, say, Monday Night Raw, as the premier title on that show or one of it. They got to build it up right. Mm-hmm. That's what UFC is able to do. They have their fight nights, they have their minor thing, but they don't have weekly television, right? They have their weekly paid program that they have. So there's ways that WWE could do it. We'll see what they do. It'll be interesting. It's not Vince running it, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, effective as of midnight last night, the Vince McMahon era had ended. It is done.
It's interesting.
But the article here that I was reading when I was prepping for the show, I use that loosely, is that there's a discussion for a massive overhaul in the WWE structure. This could include new names, new weight classes, and also introducing, like I said, the trios title. So this is something that seems like they are 100% committed to doing, no matter what. I think it's going to come down to at some point they're going to go either yes, it's working and we'll continue, or shit, we fucked up and let's go back to the drawing board. I do like what Chris is saying here. How about Saturday night main event again at midnight? Midnight, you're not gonna get that. You're still trying to hit demographic. Right now, WWE's demographic is still 25 to 45. While midnight is not extremely far fetched, it would have to be. My guess is going to be kind of like a Sunday Night Heat, where maybe they do a show before UFC Fight Night or before UFC pay-per-view number, pick a number that it is. That's my thought. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong, but that's how
I don't think it comes back to that. You have NXT for that stuff now. You have their NXT show. I know it's different rosters and stuff, but the WWE it's just different than it was back then, right? Like it's not needed. I just don't see the added value to the consumer and the cost and work that goes into it. I just don't see it.
Well, like I said, I mean, we've been saying this for now 51 minutes. It's no longer. This is no longer the WWE that we all grew up. Actually, I mean, even the WWE that we have now is the WWE we grew up with. But the landscape is about to change dramatically from this day forward. Starting with this topic here, with said merger, over 100 employees were fired, and more cuts are on the way, including superstars.
Did that come out? Because I didn't hear that. Last I heard was on Friday that they made like 100 cuts or 50 plus cuts or something like that.
Most of them were in like the offices. They were all told to work remotely from home, and then they all got the letter saying, "Sorry about your luck, you are fired." But one name did get leaked out. It wasn't leaked; it was actually announced publicly that Dana Warrior, wife of Ultimate Warrior, is indeed removed from WWE.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that, and so here's the thing that burns me. That it happens with mergers, right? Like this is all part of it. Like it's these folks knew something was coming. I mean, you got two HR departments, UFC's HR department, you got WWE's HR department. You're getting rid of somebody. Like you're not keeping two directors of HR. You're not keeping two directors of marketing. Like you're going to streamline where you can, and that's just how how mergers work. And I'm not saying that's a great thing or it's a bad thing. Like it sucks. People's livelihoods were cut. The thing, and I'm just going to add this here, the thing that pissed me off or it kind of burned me as a human, right? And I'm assuming it bothered a lot of people is that you see on Thursday, merger. Hey, Khan got $10 million plus bonus for making the merger happen. Triple H got $5+ million for the merger, and I know that they're vested, they're high level executives and stuff, but these multi-million-dollar payouts for the merger, and then on Thursday afternoon it's like, oh, by the way, guys, stay home because we don't want any crazy shit to happen in the office. Right. We're gonna call folks on Friday and let them know they no longer have a position with the company and whatever severance packages they may or may not get. And then we'll send out a mass email communication to all the people that are still here to let you know that you still have positions. And I was like, damn, that freaking sucks. Yeah. So it's like, it's just a crappy situation, It's just, and those guys are millionaires already. And then to know that, multi-million dollars were handed out for it, it just, it just sucks.
Oh yeah.
But I heard workers weren't being cut.
They are. It's just a matter. I mean, and it's probably going to be a lot of the developmental people that you haven't seen, or some people that have been sitting on the shelf for a while. And I'm going to bring this up because I'm not necessarily talking about this particular person. Randy Orton's too popular for the company to let go yet.
Yeah, he's not going. He's a draw. If he can get back to the ring in any way, shape, or form, he's a draw for the business. So fiscally, it makes sense to keep him around. We're talking about these. And he's
also said that he understands that his time for his body is coming to an end.
Oh, absolutely.
So he wants to have one more run at something. If it's a title run, great. If it's just an end to a means, even better. But
yeah.
we'll see. My guess for him is Royal Rumble.
I think one of the things you're going to see, and this is just so there's a couple pieces, right, that go into this, is that, I don't follow UFC nearly as closely as I follow the WWE. WWE's been my thing forever. It's the thing I know the longest. If anybody asked me what you thought about when you were 3-4 years old, I was wrestling. Like, I don't know. It's probably watching Monday Night Raw. So like at the end of the day, like one of the things I've seen with this and saw the perception, and my son actually pointed this out to me, like the WWE now has he's a big UFC kid. He switched over from wrestling a few years back, and he doesn't even watch wrestling anymore. He's all about UFC. And he saw, like, he was like, this is stupid when it first happened. And then actually like 2 days ago, he was like, this is actually great. I was like, what do you mean? Like, you hated this? He's like, no. As long as they don't try to mingle the whole like fake stuff with the UFC, it's great for UFC. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, because if there's talented guys in UFC, these guys got to stop fighting when they're like 35, 40 years old. Like, they have to stop really early. But they can still do things in more of the scripted WWE manner. So there's some people that have the potential to feed into the WWE if they have that personality and that character and that desire to. So it kind of gives an opportunity to some folks there. One of the things I think the UFC does right is they cut people if they suck, right? Like, they move on from guys real quick. Punk didn't last because he wasn't drawn. Well, he drew, but he wasn't winning, right? So like they move on from guys that, don't fight well, don't perform well. They're willing to cut the, ties with them. A little bit easier in UFC because it's based on what they do fighting and, really what they do fighting. In wrestling, there's the talking, there's the wrestling, there's all that goes into it. Right. So I think what you'll see with the WWE is they've held on to a guys, from 2014, 2015, 2016 for a lot longer than maybe, barring the COVID cuts that they made, they hold on to people on those lower NXT levels, and they don't cycle through them as fast as maybe the UFC does. I would anticipate moving forward, you're going to get WWE developmental deals that are going to be of shorter tenure. And if you don't jump fast enough, you're going to be let go to go figure it out and then come back maybe in the future. Like, hey, we brought you in too soon. You're not carrying yourself the way we want. A guy like LA Knight, right? They released him. He went out, found his wings, came back, and now he's, one of the big draws. So
LA Knight, Drew McIntyre.
Exactly. Jinder Mahal,
Cody Rhodes.
Yep. I think you're going to see them be a lot more comfortable with that because you don't have that family WWE Vince, kind of approach at the top, right? You're going to have much more of a cutthroat business approach up there. I think that's my thought.
Sure. I mean, it's pretty solid idea to think about. But I mean, time will tell that story, I guess. Best way to look at it. I'm curious to see what the future brings. I'm also scared at the same time.
Oh yeah.
So next topic I got, we brought it up a little earlier, Mr. I want to jump the gun on the things that I have. The People's Champion.
Oh,
The
man,
Rock returned to SmackDown. Now, with that being said, he was also on Pat McAfee's football show live to discuss a certain match that was actually greenlighted for WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood. The Rock sat down with Nick Khan and Vince McMahon and had the deal set for The Rock versus Roman Reigns for the title, main eventing WrestleMania Night 2. What happened? We don't know.
I think we kind of know what happened to some degree, right? Like The Rock has to walk a fine line with what he partakes in out of risk injury and stuff. I mean, and he admitted he was having some Terramana, and I mean, that could get you a little, off your, proper decision making, process there as you shake hands and agree to something. But my guess is that it came down to it. There wasn't a way to get it to where they wanted to go in the amount of time that The Rock had to deliver. Appearances.
They had already had wind of the writer's strike, so that was already not a factor. Two, The Rock had even said in said interview that he was going to put Roman over to be the ultimate guy. Him.
Absolutely. Well, I read that the idea was, put Roman over and then let Roman set up for that next guy that's going to carry the torch for a few years, right? So Roman could ease back off of it, which is mind-boggling to me. Like, as I'm older and I'm starting to see the amount of time that one of these guys like The Rock or Cena or Austin and now Roman sit at the top it's amazing how long they don't sit at the top, but it feels like they're there forever.
Right.
So like, the fact that they're ready to hand that torch off to someone else to carry the ball from Roman is amazing to me. But when I think about the whole thing with The Rock and what they were doing, I don't think was that this past WrestleMania? Would it have been this past spring?
Yeah.
Okay. So the strike didn't happen till after that, though. So
right. But what I'm saying is that the thought of the strike was already in place. It just didn't officially happen. So they kind of thought they were planning for if it does happen, we have this match that we want to do. And then ultimately they left winged it, and then you saw what the main event was.
Right.
But The Rock being back, this isn't coincidental. I still feel we're gonna get this match. I'm trying to think of when you do it though.
I think what I read and kind of some of the undertones I got from some of the interviews and notes that I saw, Rock isn't gonna it's cool. I mean, he was setting it up in the TV show, right? Like, it's it's not a big enough match for us. We got the only match for, Rock and Roman is at Mania. That's a Mania match someday, right? Like, it's on his TV show, Young Rock.
But you're not going to do it at Mania, though. At WrestleMania 40, you can't. WrestleMania 40 is where Roman drops this title, no matter who it's to.
Not if it's 2 nights, brother. Not if it's 2 nights.
He doubles up?
I think Roman doubles up, dude. I think because how much bigger does that make Cody's win over Roman the night after? So I think what happens is I mean, there's 2 ways you can look at it. As I say it, I'm thinking like, okay, well, there's another perspective. Like, I think you get a couple pieces, right? The Rock comes back this past Thursday or this past Friday. SmackDown's still Thursday to me, but he came back on Friday. And he's promoting this, himself. And I know he's tied with the UFC because they're like wear his Rock shoes. And, he was in Colorado doing stuff on the ESPN because he's got nothing else to do. Well, we have a strike right now. And there's the problem, I think, with the previous Mania was the couple things. One, The Rock wouldn't be able to get the amount of time he needed to really be ring ready, to really put on a great match. Well, he's not doing any movies. He's not doing any shows right now. Right. Some of his shows are canceled. And let's be honest, The Rock is being seen in some unfavorable light from Hollywood people and fans of that already. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's political aspect to it. There's the movies he's done, different things, right? So where's he going to go? The one place that's true to wrestlers, no matter what they do. We don't turn on our wrestlers unless they do the unspeakable, right? So like The Rock comes home, that's what he does. And he knocks on the door and he comes out last week and he sets up this intro. Well, the Cena's back. You start like these guys don't have anything else to do, so they're going to come back and take the money where they can get it, and also help, their foundation, and The Rock can now set up Mania for WrestleMania 40, and what that does is it sets up the opportunity for Cody to win Rumble or Elimination Chamber and get night 2, and now I know you have Seth with a title and you have a title on the other show, so you don't have to have. Roman main event both shows or have that whole piece going on. But Rock said in the interview that, I'm only going to do something if it's something that's never been done before. Well, what's never been done before is somebody carry the title for this long. If he had beat Roman back then, Roman didn't dethrone the record, right? Like, I don't know the date in which Roman finally broke the record, but I don't think he had broke the record by Mania this past year, correct?
Well, are you talking like the official longest reigning? He won't break that. Yeah. He won't break that record.
What's the record? What's the record? Wait, is it 8 years or something? Is it some like crazy 8-year thing with Bruno?
Yeah.
But what's the record right now?
He did beat Hulk's record. So Hogan's record has now officially been beaten. Hold on, let me title this.
Bruno Sammartino's 2,800 in 3 days. Okay. So,
yeah.
Okay. Roman's as, up there. Okay.
Yeah. He will, if he held it that long, if he officially dropped it, he would still be third.
Okay.
On that list.
Okay. I guess I forgot about Bruno and Bob, but he's broke Hogan's, like, and I guess what you would say is that in the modern era.
In the modern era.
Right. Yes, he broke Hogan's. Because, like, being honest, most casual and even the next level up, or maybe even next 2 levels up from casual fans, they wouldn't know Bob Backlund's name and they wouldn't know Bruno, but they know Hogan. Right. They know Cena, they know Punk, they know Reigns, right? Mm-hmm. So they know The Rock and Austin. They know those guys. You're more casual viewer fans, and that's who they appease to, right? Most of the time. So you have The Rock. That's what they're going to promote. He's the longest reigning modern era champion, and going all the way back to Hogan. And if you do that, now you bring out the fact that The Rock shows up to dethrone him. The Rock's going to come back. He took down, he can play off I took Cena down. I took Punk down. I can come back. And every time I come back, I take the new big thing, right? And it happens all the time. Well, now you have The Rock come back, and you have him go against Roman, and you have Cody like, well, don't forget about me. I'm doing my thing. And you could probably do a Cody versus Rock thing. Kind of like they did with the Punk and Rock, and help Cody build himself up, but not quite get there. You had Cody beat the last guy that the Rock put over to hand the title to in Brock last month or whatever.
Yeah.
So you set it up, and you have the Rock lose in a very, favorable, clean fashion on Saturday night, so that Roman's going in against Cody, and it's Cody versus Roman. And you have Roman cheat, and you have him do all the same stuff he did last time. You have Solo try to help him, all that stuff. Heck, you have Jay and Jimmy try to help him. You bring out his other cousins that are all over. Heck, you have The Rock come out and try to throw one to Cody, and you still have Cody overcome everything. The only way it doesn't work is because if Cody doesn't win it himself cleanly, it's kind of like, a situation where, well,
it's the actress that's his name.
Exactly. Well, he beat Roman, but Roman had to fight The Rock the night before. Right. But if you throw the bullets at Cody all night long on Sunday, and you then have him triumph, it can get over, and it can be done the right way, as long as you have enough outside interference and Cody not have any support in the ring. As long as nobody hits Roman from Cody's side, and it's always Cody having offense on Roman, and everything else is delivered as a attempt to break Cody, then it goes over cleanly and it's fine. So I think that's how you do it.
Here's my problem.
It's 40.
Here's my problem with that scenario. Okay, for 3 years essentially, we went from the big dog era of Roman Reigns to the tribal chief.
Yeah.
Okay. The Rock had even said, "Hey, you ain't beat me."
Yep.
Here's my problem. You've built 3 years of tribal chief Roman Reigns to go into night 1 of WrestleMania, beat The Rock, to then turn around the next night and lose to Cody.
It's the perfect way. It's perfect.
On paper, it looks good. In my mind, I hate it.
I don't know, man. I hated Roman when the Shield came out, and I looked at the 3 guys. I was like, Dean Ambrose is the dude, and I hated Roman. And Seth was like, he's Jeff Hardy. He's gonna fizzle out because he keeps jumping off things too high. But like, I flip flop, and now in 2023, I'm like, I'm down. Like, I wasn't a day one-ish, but I'm down. I acknowledge him. Like, he does it. Like, he's the guy that I enjoy watching.
No, you're not wrong. I don't see it.
Maybe
if you do that like Royal Rumble, you put it at Royal Rumble where he beats The Rock, and now he's going for 2 months saying, "Now I am the true head of the table. Okay. I am that guy. I beat Jimmy. I beat Jay. I beat my own cousin The Rock. Tampa? I cannot be beat."
Tampa, I mean, that could work.
Then
Tampa? Okay.
Then you get two.
I hate it.
You get 2 stories at the end. You get Roman, this ultimate champion, who's held this title for 3 years, the biggest name now in this business, and the guy who's trying to finish his dad's story, which you should really just get rid of that. You need to finish your story, not your dad's story, your story.
Yeah,
you went from this middle guy and this big company. You went and did your own thing. You created AEW. You got kicked out of AEW. You came back home to a roaring. I was there. I was at that Mania. The crowd went nuts. And here you are, WrestleMania 40, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, main eventing night 2, and you are the champion at the end, holding that title that your dad never held.
Yeah, I mean,
and you beat the guy that's held it for 3 years.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate the Rumble thing. And the reason I hate it is because I think it works better, and it's not Rock at 40 at Mania, and like to me, Rock at WrestleMania 40, the biggest stage of them all is where I feel like it should happen, but I think what you're saying is actually a better scenario because I love the idea of Roman having gone stale in some ways, right? Like he isn't stale. I know there's a lot of people, he's been a champ for too long. It's stupid. No, this is pretty badass because it's never happened in my lifetime where like you've seen this. So like, I'm actually pretty pumped about it. So like, and it's, other than John Cena, like there's not been somebody who's been forced down your throat so much, but now finally being forced down your throat in a way that you must acknowledge him and you kind of get behind it. Right. So it's like another 2 months of him leading into WrestleMania where he's like, I don't know who Cody, who dude, right. I just beat the king. I beat that guy last year. We're not doing this again. Right. Like, he's had his shot, I just beat The Rock and literally, we're the dynasty, we're the Samoan dynasty. There's nobody in my family who is the best, largest, most influential family outside of Vince, McMahon in the pro wrestling history. Right. The second maybe only to like the Hearts and those other, there's a few other ones, but really the Samoan dynasty is the biggest and strongest, most, historical group. So, and I run it. I'm the big guy for exactly. And I'm the biggest and baddest one of them all. And I just proved it when I sent the Rock pack in. Exactly. I could kind of get behind that if he does it at Rumble. And then, that sets up a big battle with Cody and him. And
yeah, because that way, Roman's not going to defend the title anytime between then and WrestleMania. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, so, but Cody still has to at Mania. He still has to have Solo hit him. He still has to have Jay and Jimmy attack him.
You're going to have that no matter what.
Like, and he has to have no help.
He has to overcome the ultimate, what's the word I'm trying to say here? Adversity.
You got to have The Rock come flying down, slide into the ring, pick Cody up, hit Cody with a rock bottom, walk away, and Cody still kick out.
No, that distorts the whole thing.
No, you got to have.
You can't have The Rock Superman. Come out. You can't have The Rock come out.
Why not? The tribal chief, they just went to tribal warfare. The Rock is now in line. The Rock now has to follow suit. He has to fall in line. Roman tells him to take him down. Rock comes out, hits a rock bottom on Cody, and then Cody still kicks out. It's got to be the stack of the stack of the stack.
I can see it.
Dude, I mean, you got to bring The Rock has to be there at 40.
All right.
He's got it.
Let's bring some things like that started in the chat. No, you're good. I said we said this like when we first had you on. We can talk about this all damn day.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't and I won't. But HGC says I would love to see Randy at least tie Cena and Flair for world titles. I know Flair's number is questionable with multiple companies and multiple reigns, but 16 is the official number on the books. Orton is at 14, if memory serves me pseudo correctly.
Yeah, I don't know, and I'll be honest.
Somewhere in there.
To me, the most title reigns and stuff, like, don't get me wrong, I know it's scripted, but the reigns that these guys had over the course of the 20 years from 2000 to 2023, whatever it is now, I just don't. I mean, you could tell me they're a multi-time 16, 20, 30, 40. To me, it's kind of like it doesn't really matter because you're in an industry that has 4 television shows a week, and you've got to, and we have a generation that has 14. To click. Yeah, so to me, it's like, him getting it versus not getting it. To me, it doesn't matter. I'd like to see him have one more big run, so he has an opportunity to kind of just finish, do a tour like Edge, that type of thing. Barring any injuries and that type of stuff.
So here's my question then. Let's throw this out there. Do you want to see that the 16 title reigns as it sits be broken? And if so, who breaks it? I thought it was going to be Cena, honestly.
I thought so too. I look at the Ric Flair championships as the fact that it's recognized as a an important thing. I don't know that if you're at a point where you're looking at 16 championships, 17 championships and breaking it, the guy doesn't need it at that point. He doesn't need it. It's not something you need to market. That name is already over.
But you're taking Roman Reigns, you're shattering days of titles of the title being held. Days.
Roman, he needed it. He needed that.
He needed it because they shoved him down our throats for it's too long.
Yeah.
But either way it goes, you like it started with Punk. Punk was the modern day title reign holder.
Yep.
That got broken. So inevitably, I feel at this point you have to break 16. And no shade to Ric Flair, the man and the nature boy.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna continue this into a new era of wrestling, bringing in new eyes, especially now that TKO is taking over, you gotta break 16.
I guess in the sense that Ric Flair can't be on television forever, right? And
Are you sure?
Well, at some point we're going to be mourning the loss of a great at some point, correct? Because the only thing that's guaranteed in this world is taxes and death, and
right.
At some point we're not going to have him be able to show up, and as a result, if you want to be able to use that tool as a marketing piece, you've got to pass it off and have somebody else. I think Charlotte's pretty close from the women's title side, so they may just piece it that way. But like,
I think that's the closest we're gonna get.
Yeah. I respect your perspective on it though, because I had never really thought about it as a marketing tool. It's almost like the Undertaker undefeated streak, right? To me, that they dropped the ball on that. I was vehemently displeased with the fact that Brock won that from him. He didn't need it.
That was Taker's call.
I know, but there was a guy who recently passed. They could have done it with better.
I agree.
Absolutely. If they had used Bray right and didn't have him job to guys like to Cena in the past, they could have handed that off to someone like a Bray Wyatt or another person who could have carried the legacy and gone undefeated and done the same thing, like you're saying, right? The Flair, that Flair bump, right? Having the ability to get the 16 or 17, they can use it if they have somebody to use it. It makes sense, but I feel like it's hard because it's one of those things that you can sell it and you can use it on TV, but it's not something you can put up on the line. You can't put the 16-time or the 17-time championship up against somebody. Hey, Randy's 16-time, 17-time champ. Okay. What is that? How do you can't hand it over to Black Knight to take that from him. So what does it do? I don't know. Like, how does it market?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I say, I feel like if this is the road we're going down, someone's gonna do it. And if it isn't gonna be Cena, which it should have been during that like hot Cena phase that we had, it's
gotta be somebody younger. Younger.
The only person it's gonna be Charlotte, and that's just to keep the Flair part intact.
Yeah.
I want to pull up HGC's message only because I found it hilarious. Flair will be dead, and he'll still be cutting promos from the Beyond. He'll
be limousine riding, whatever the
stealing, wheeling, dealing, son of a yes,
yes,
love it. He also says that in his emotional wrestling fan voice, that world titles is still real to me.
Yeah.
So what else I got? I got a couple other. I got two more things that's on the docket, and then we can kind of see what's happening here. So we were bringing up TV deals.
Yes.
Two big things were brought up this week in regards to TV deals. I'll start with AEW for one.
I didn't see this one.
AEW is in final contract talks with, it's Max, HBO Max.
Oh, I did see here something
where
about
they
that,
will provide a monthly PLE premium live event on Max as early as November.
Do they talk about like that being an additional fee, or
if you are a HBO Max, or I'm sorry, a Max member as of now, that there will be no additional charging to that.
Okay.
It's the WWE network with HBO.
Okay. Well, I know that, but like ESPN Plus with UFC, and I think you're going to see some changes with WWE potentially because of that business model, which is going to get interesting. And I'm sure you're going to pick that up in a second.
I got it queued up right now.
That's why I was asking that question about AEW. If like it's like, oh yeah, you have Max, and as a result of having Max, you can now purchase for a small nominal fee, the ability to stream and watch their premium live event. Do they mention whether it's going to replace their current pay-per-view model or if it's going to be a supplemental thing?
It hints at replacement. It's still kind of in that gray. We don't know exactly what it's going to be yet, but it looks like it's going to follow a one pay-per-view per month, in that kind of
Yeah, I don't think
WWE-ish type.
I don't think
Player.
they could support more than that, so that makes sense. And the fact that they're going to give it to you on the Max, it'll be interesting. So I'm curious. They must be offering it on Max as, you know, it's not exclusive to Max. They must be looking at providing it to Max as a complementary piece, and then, you know, supplementary. They can have a pay-per-view model outside of that, right?
Well, AEW was trying to get their own
Network.
It wasn't working, so this
They
is
can't.
their kind of backup, because I mean they have that entire Ring of Honor library that they're trying to offer back out.
Yeah,
So
but
this
it's
is
not
gonna
it's not
probably be their
enough
thing.
yet. Yeah, but the library isn't enough to start up an entire network like WWE. WWE had
Right.
40 years, 50 years, 60 years of material.
And all the territories that they bought on the way.
Exactly. So that makes sense.
Since we were talking about WWE, the news from WWE currently is Fox does not want to renew at $300 million a year.
Why not? It's got to be a great deal for Friday nights. Worst night of television.
Yes, it is. But apparently Fox, they want a cheaper deal due to the fluctuation in ratings.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense.
So there are two new companies in the hunt, and one is a reoccurring name in said deal. One being Disney. Disney was at the table before Fox signed the deal.
Yeah.
And they could not come to terms on the dollars. But Disney is back at the table saying, look here.
And I would guarantee out of any of them there, Disney, I mean,
there's one more name. And that name's got some money behind it.
Doesn't matter how much money they have behind it. Is it Amazon? Is that
it
what
is?
It was?
Amazon, yes.
Yeah, I thought I saw it. That's great. And yeah, maybe Amazon will consider throwing money at it, but there's already an established relationship between TKO and Disney because ESPN Plus has the rights to UFC and the premium live stuff, or, you know, their pay-per-view model. You have to pay the sub for the Plus just to get access to the UFC matches. So, you know, my thought is that you're going to have a situation here where Disney's the shoe-in for it because, wait, you already go through ESPN. So if you want to do the, you know, their model through it, you go through them. And, you know, I feel like the network, the connection's already there.
Oh, it gets better. So I'm gonna touch on the Amazon when it come back to the Disney one. So it benefits Amazon one because, you know, they're working on trying to build that platform in their streaming service. They have a lot of originals that they're working on, but they need some type of like a staple, you know, to really draw that people into that Prime membership. WWE is gonna get you that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the WWE thing is like the Peacock thing, and like, I don't know, man. Their own network was good. I don't know why they switched away from it. To me, it was crazy, but we'll see. I feel like there was still more money to own the proprietary thing on your own. I know it's another division, but
that way, you know, WWE Network, they would have had to continue to up the charge as they were already doing. They did it once, and they realized we didn't want to do this. Peacock comes in and says, look, you come with us. We already have this service. We're charging $6.99 and $7.99 a month. You're actually saving your people money, and you get to watch all of our stuff that we already have.
Yeah, from a consumer standpoint, it made sense. From the WWE standpoint, I think the reason they did it was most likely because they were ramping up for what just happened 4 or 5 days ago. Mm-hmm. So I think that was the reason. They wanted to show value. They wanted to show the money, and the network was had an expense to it. So that's probably why that happened. But it'll be interesting to see if they go to a streaming service with it. I mean, because you're right. Amazon has made a play, right? They got Thursday nights freaking football games, right? Like they have the Thursday night NFL games, and you know, if they can then say, hey, watch, you know, Thursday night football with us and then come on Fridays and watch Raw or SmackDown or whatever, you know, there's that piece. It'll be interesting to see how it goes because I think Universal's Peacock, right?
Yeah.
I thought I read something recently. They were making a play to finalize the purchase of the remaining stuff on Hulu too recently.
Yes.
So with them tying that off on Hulu, it'll be interesting to see how things shake out with it because there are so many kind of spinning wheels, and I think these distributors are getting.
And this will come back to this part is if Hulu does leave, you know, Disney, that leaves a hole in Disney's triple threat of their service. You know, you have all the Disney, you have ESPN, and then you have Hulu for all the live stuff for people who are cutting the cord.
Yeah.
If WWE and Disney signs a deal, one, SmackDown, as of right now, will not be on Friday night, or if it is, it'll move to ABC.
Huh.
ABC would become the front running channel to hold SmackDown on whatever night they choose to put it on.
Do you think they would keep it on TV though, like, or it would go stream service only?
No, it'll still stay on TV because ABC has that weird time of year where they have nothing.
Okay.
So putting on a wrestling show, being SmackDown or NXT or whatever, and this also includes Raw, but that will never leave Monday.
Wait. So Raw's up for deals right now too?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought they've been.
is.
I thought they've been dealing. I thought they've been dealing SmackDown on its own, and they've been dealing Raw on its own too,
right?
Independently.
But Disney says Disney's offer is, I want all of it.
Gotcha.
But they can't touch Raw for like another 2 years unless they come to an agreement on a buyout.
Okay.
But the end term would be that Raw can never leave Monday. That has been a staple for ever. You can't leave. Like SmackDown's expendable to put on any night you want. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday.
That's moved around. I mean, there's two things you can guarantee on Monday night. It's a Punk with Toys, and it's Monday Night Raw. Like those are the two things you can guarantee on Mondays. Right.
It's Tuesday Night Thunder. I don't like that name.
Yeah, no.
But that's the idea running right now, that Disney wants WWE to join and that SmackDown would be part of the ABC lineup.
Well, and I mean, it makes sense, right? Because before TKO came in, Disney was really interested in, or there was a lot of talk that Disney could come in and buy up, the WWE altogether. There was talks that they might come in and own another IP. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. But
oh my God, HGC! If Disney gets SmackDown, we will 100% get Ric Flair cutting a promo at WrestleMania at Space Mountain. Well, Vince can't book it anymore.
It's Triple H, dude.
Triple H is running the show now, and TKO. The big guys over at UFC and all them. So no, I would love to see that. That if Ric Flair knew he was going to die tomorrow, I want to see that promo cut.
Right. I'd be interested because I did, I've recently seen a lot of stuff because I do follow a lot of the streaming network news and stuff just because it's interesting to me, like the whole model and whatnot, and because of the industry that I work in, my 9 to 5, like the whole online stuff, it's very interesting to me. So I have recently seen a lot of like talk about like the Disney network, maybe pulling back a little bit because of the expense and because of the fact that it's cost them a lot to produce their own material. And we're now at a point in the road where every channel is starting to come out with their own streaming service and every network. And, now, everybody was cutting the cord to go to like whatever it was. But now the cost of all that's going so much that Disney is running into an issue where it might make sense to start to move away from some of that and potentially just, they may realize that, hey, if I lease this out to another company like a Netflix or an Amazon Prime, it's like that, it's bringing it full circle to like a Helladope situation. It gets to a point where, it might make sense to manufacture the stuff and then have Helladope, purchase things at a bulk rate to then distribute on their own, as opposed to me having to worry about trying to sell piece by piece. Right. So it'll be interesting to see what happens because I feel like there's a lot of change to come because those companies have been rolling forward with that model for so long, and things are definitely at a point where consumers are starting to go, why do I have 17 different apps on my phone? Why do I have 17 different apps on my television?
Yep.
Hey, did I just look at my bill and figure out that I'm paying $175 a month for all 10 of my streaming network services where, in the beginning it was cool because it's like, oh, Verizon's giving me this for free and this is only $10 and this is only $5, but now the price has gone up so much.
It adds up because you gotta have all of them. You gotta have Hulu. You gotta have Net. At the time, you had to have Netflix. You had to have HBO.
I mean, Hulu and Netflix got cut from my book a while ago. The only one that I still have is Disney Plus, and that's just for my kids. At this point, I just watch hella dope news and streams on a replay on YouTube and a bunch of other people. So I don't watch TV anymore. I'm a YouTube guy.
So things that got forgotten. Chris was saying, what about Johnny Gargano? He has been a forgotten wrestler since he came back after the birth of his child. Do you see him? Where do you see his future in this new era of WWE?
I think that the tag team division in the WWE sucks most of the time. There's always one or two good teams, but don't get me wrong, I love the story that's behind Sammy and Kevin, but they're not a tag team. They shouldn't be a tag team consistently. I want guys that wear the same trunks. I want guys that look like they're supposed to be together, whether it be, Edge and Christian, the Jeff Hardys, the Dudleys, the LOD, the Nasty, was something that they looked like they're supposed to be together.
So you're saying at the end of the day that you want DIY to get back together?
I think that's what I saw online. That's a potential, right? I thought Tommy Campona, however you pronounce his name. I thought he was, that guy. I thought he was working some angles on the mic there recently where it was suggesting that he might just have to do it himself or something. I thought I saw something like that.
There have been buzzes, but of course nothing. I mean, this was still under the Vince McMahon era, so
right. Well, yeah, he's a small guy.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
I know Triple H likes those guys, so
that's his guy. Tommaso Ciampa, all of these people, pretty much everybody that's on the WWE roster that is the last 5 years is all product of Triple H and Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's all the notes that I've got. It's actually a pretty decent amount of stuff we covered.
Yeah, so I can ramble about wrestling forever.
Oh yeah. A couple things I just want to toss out real quick. So last week, we did a giveaway. Did you send yours out?
I actually communicated with the winner today or yesterday morning. It's going out tomorrow or Tuesday. I've been working on some stuff, man. I got a lot of stuff I've been working. He's cool with it. He's been dealing with some stuff. Hey, come on, man. I don't go out tomorrow.
That is not the Hella Dope way, okay?
No, this is not hell. That's why I said it's not shipped or donated from Hella Dope. It was Hexastack. But yeah, it's going to go out tomorrow or Tuesday. I've been in communication with him pretty consistently the night of and the day after, and then today or yesterday I reached out and checked in with him, let him know, hey, it's on its way, brother. I had some stuff I've been working on the last week and stuff, obviously trying to get Hexastack launched and stuff. So, but yeah, it's definitely on its way, and I'll throw a couple extra stickers in there for him too.
Awesome. So, Happy Accident, who may or may not still be in the chat, did get his morph. So
awesome.
Once again, congratulations on getting that. Unfortunately, we had a message after the show from our last winner, which was the NXT Championship belt. While a fan of wrestling, he wanted to make sure that someone who appreciates NXT got that title. So he did forfeit the win. So I've been coming up with some ideas because I still want to give it to somebody because I feel it's deserved. I'm thinking about doing a NXT pick'em. We'll take the next, if not the next one, the one after that, because I gotta plan this out. The pay-per-view, the entire card, you pick the winners. Whoever has the most right picks wins.
That's cool. That's a cool idea.
So that way, if you indeed want that title, one, you're entering it because you indeed want it.
Yeah.
And two, it'll go to someone who wants it. So
that's cool.
I'll work on that. Keep an eye out on Instagram. I'll post information about that when we'll do it, so that everyone knows and gets an opportunity to partake in that.
That's really cool of the original winner to pass it on to someone who would truly be passionate about it. That's really cool.
Yes, he's more that kind of the golden age, Monday Night Wars.
Gotcha.
So that's really cool. I respect that.
Absolutely.
Outside of that, like I said earlier in the show, some WWE wrestling figs are up on the site right now. Basics 142. Also, the Elite. Okay, where'd it go? I want to make sure I say this right because there's so much stuff out. Elite Series 104 with AJ Styles, Braun Breaker, Dakota Kai, Rick Steiner, Solo Sikoa, first time in the line.
Are those sold out though?
I believe Solo Sikoa for sure is. That thing sold fast, and I think Braun Breaker's getting close. We may have maybe one or two of those left.
I know Steiner's sold out.
Yeah, Steiner is gone. No, that's Rick Steiner.
Or Scott Steiner.
Scott's sold out. Rick is not.
Yeah.
Also, Elite Series 105 is up right now with Braun Strowman, Io Sky, Johnny Gargano, Carmelo Hayes, and we are hoping to be getting Ultimate Randy Orton Wave 18. Hopefully in the next couple weeks. They are starting to sprinkle in some of the bigger stores, so hopefully we'll get them. And then Ultimate Wave 19, Bianca Belair, uh, Bobby Lashley, and Kurt Angle, all up on the site right now for pre-order. All expected somewhere between December and January of the latter half of the year. So, all you wrestling fans out there, if you're looking for some cool figs, you know where to find us, helladopetoys.com. As noted earlier in the chat, I don't remember, I think it's Greg that posted tonight, you got an hour and 25 minutes before Four Horsemen's new Cosmic Wave line ends at their special price. So if you've got the loot ready to go ahead and support the Four Horsemen, get that at that good price. If not, starting tomorrow, you will be able to pre-order from Hello Dope Toys. Unfortunately, it will be under the retail value. But for us, all you got to do is put down 10% just to lock down your order. So if you're not part of our email, make sure you sign up for that on the website so you can get all the news of all the hotness that's coming out at helladopetoys.com. Robert, have a good night. Don't worry, we're getting ready to end up soon, too. We're trying to spend some time with the lady. She's been busy all weekend. I had to work yesterday, so we didn't get a chance to hang. Also, tomorrow, for those who did not see the awesome promo that Jim Largo put up for Infinite Playlist. By the way, Largo, that song is a banger. I've been listening to that in my car like all day. I love that song, by the way. Ted and I will be on Largo's Lair for the Hella Dope Toys Infinite Playlist. We're going to hit you with some of the nostalgic things that, it's hella dope. Things that we listen to while we're doing work or things that just made us remember yesteryear. So stay tuned tomorrow, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. Largo's Lair. Follow that man on YouTube along with Wilhelm Toy and Hobby. Those guys are putting out fantastic content. Also, our moderator, Action, aka Axion Figs, does a show every single Tuesday. Show him some love. Travis, what you got for the people, man?
I ain't got nothing, man. My Kickstarter is done. I'm done. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
All right.
So, go to www.thehexastack.com for sign up and subscribe for our emails. The purchasing isn't set to go active just yet. Working on a few things. Really, the big thing for me is right now ensuring that I have the inventory for orders to go, because I don't want people placing orders and then telling them there's a little bit of a lead time, because I don't want to be, not like Hella Dope. I want to get my stuff out the door as soon as possible.
Yeah,
so
man wants to be like us now.
Exactly. So I'm ensuring that I have enough product to get that out. Then what I would say is, the big thing is, keep a follow on, at Hexastack on Instagram and the website there. Like I said, that's where I'll be doing the updates. I've got a couple things coming over the next couple days. I'll be making an announcement with a little reel video that I've been preparing to announce what's to come. But what's coming from that is going to be a live show on my YouTube channel or the Hexastack YouTube channel, where I'm going to present the approach and model that Hexastack is going to move forward with as we produce in-house through 3D printed Hexastack products. Until we raise the funds, because again, it goes all the way back to what I said from the beginning. It's not if, it's when. What I'm doing is I'm providing those Hexastacks to folks through the 3D printed model. I have 9 printers, high-end resin printers producing those products here in-house, and then any profits and proceeds are going to be rolled into the account to put my deposit down with Ramen Toys to produce the injection molded molds, get those toolings all completed. And then once that's done, all the stands and a number of the accessory pieces will be injection molded. And, you'll have to see what else comes, because I've got a lot of sideline accessories that go and make Hexastack not just a stand. We're going to be the stand and everything else you need.
Yeah, make sure you guys are putting up those hashtags get stacked. So we show support to Travis and Hexastack. Get that out there. Hashtag get stacked. Speaking of Ramen Toys, if you haven't heard, Helladopetoys is now a wholesaler for ramen. The Marshall and Aces of Aviators are up on the site also. Those pre-orders are live. Need to get that order figured out by October. So you got to about the middle of October to get those pre-orders in, so I get an idea of what we need to order. Remember, all you got to do is put 10% down. You don't have to pay the whole thing, just 10%. And we'll bill you on the rest.
I should probably pay attention to that more.
You should, but we thank you either way.
I'm pretty sure I got a Marshall on the way now, so
you do.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, for those who saw last week's promo, we were supposed to have the Find My Figure ladies on. Unfortunately, with scheduling conflicts, we had to move them back. So keep an eye out for when we'll have those ladies on. So next week, it will be Ted and I doing Ted and I things. Who knows about what? Just show up. We'll figure it out then. Outside of that, I am the one and only Black Knight of helladopetoys. That guy over there is Travis, aka Mr. Wonderful. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you next Sunday. Same time, same place. Yeah. Peace out.
Take it easy.